about to ask you what's going to seem like a really easy question, but actually it's way more complicated than you think. So the question is, if you had a choice, when do you want Congress to deal with the U.S. border? Now or in 2025? Go ahead. I want you to answer it out loud. Say it. You have your answer? Okay. So remember what you just said because it's going to become important in a second. So let me tell you what's going on. I have been telling you for months that a group of senators, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, has been working on a compromise deal to address the crisis at the border. That deal, right now, still pretty vague, but generally it includes more funding for border security, and according to the Republican minority leader, Mitch McConnell, it also includes major concessions from Democrats on immigrant asylum reform. He says those were the exact concessions the Republicans wanted from the Democrats when Trump was still in office, and now they're getting it. And as I told you in this video just recently, there was some light at the end of the tunnel when it came to addressing the border issue. There was a lot of optimism from Democrats and Republican leaders in both the House and the Senate after this big meeting at the White House with the president that finally Congress was going to do its job and address the crisis on the border. Was that deal going to be transformational to fix our broken immigration system once and for all? No. Clearly no. Congress hasn't been able to do anything like that on the border for decades. But it would, in theory, if passed, make a difference when it came to immigration. And this is where the complication comes in, because now enters the politics into this story. And I'm going to give you both sides of it so you can decide. So this deal that's been worked on, as I said, for months and is this close to being put on the Senate floor for a vote, could simply die. Because for the last week or so, former President Trump, who is on the road to becoming the Republican nominee for president, has been saying things like he did just a few hours ago. We need a strong, powerful, and essentially perfect border, and unless we get that, we are better off not making a deal, even if that pushes our country to temporarily close up for a while. What he's saying is, unless Republicans get every single thing he wants in a border deal, a so-called perfect deal, then Republicans should scrap the whole thing, let the border crisis continue until he gets into office, and maybe, if that happens, then if Republicans also flip control of the Senate and keep the House, they can pass exactly what Trump wants. Now, it's a gamble, especially when Senator McConnell is saying that this is the best deal Republicans have seen from Democrats on the border in years. Now, the deal isn't dead just yet, but Republicans have started to really cool on this entire idea. They're starting to back away from it, and some are saying they're still on board, but others who were leaning to yes are now like, nah, I don't know. Now, as I've been telling you for years, immigration is what's called a wedge issue. That means it's an issue that some politicians would rather campaign on to get you fired up instead of actually fixing. A lot of them do this. It's not just one of them. They've been doing this for decades. Immigration and the border are issues that are better for some politically if they're broken. Because if they're fixed, then what do you, the voter, have to be fired up about? You might not vote. There might not be anything else that would drive you to the polls. You see what I'm saying? But if you're president of the United States, you absolutely want to be the one that says you fixed it, especially in a campaign year. And obviously, a bipartisan deal on immigration and border security, even if it's a small one, would be a huge win for President Biden. That's why he's pushing this thing really hard, because he wants to be the one to claim that he fixed it on the campaign trail. Now, it is worth noting, in this specific case, any deal that would fix the border can absolutely be used by both Democrats and Republicans as a win. As they campaign in 2024, Republicans can say they got Democrats to cave and they're the ones driving the conversation when it comes to border security, but Democrats can also claim a win and say they're actually taking this border crisis very seriously. So again, I ask you the complicated question. When do you want Congress to deal with the border? You want them to pass this deal now? Or do nothing and wait until 2025 and see if Trump becomes president again?